I used to laugh at the stories. Those whispered tales about a ghostly taxi that roams the city streets, picking up unsuspecting passengers. It was just one of those urban legends you hear at parties, right? I mean, who truly believes in ghost stories in this day and age? But that was before I found myself sitting in the back seat of a cab with no driver in sight. It started innocently enough, an ordinary night out with friends. I'd left the bar a little after midnight, the city alive with its typical nocturnal hum. Tired and more than a little tipsy, I hailed the first taxi I saw. The back door swung open by itself, but I was too caught up in my own world to notice the oddness of it all at first. The ride was smooth, eerily smooth, the kind you only see in movies. I leaned back, glancing out the window as the city lights blurred past. It wasn't until we passed a familiar monument that I realized we were going in circles. My first instinct was to tell the driver to check the GPS, but when I leaned forward, the driver's seat was empty. Panic clawed at my chest, but I told myself it had to be some prank or a weird automated taxi. But deep down, a creeping fear took hold. I looked around the interior, noticing the faint smell of something old and forgotten, like a dusty attic. As the minutes ticked by, the cityscape outside seemed to distort, buildings warping like reflections in a funhouse mirror. The air grew colder, my breath visible in the dim light. I tried the door handles, but they wouldn't budge. My phone was no help either, its screen flickering uselessly. Then, the radio crackled to life, an old jazz tune playing softly. But the real terror gripped me when a voice whispered my name through the static, familiar yet unplaceable. It was like a forgotten lullaby from childhood, and it chilled me to the bone. In a desperate move, I forced myself to focus, remembering the legend's one saving grace. If you could pinpoint the location where you first got in, the taxi would let you go. I closed my eyes, mentally retracing my path from the bar to where I was now. Slowly, the city began to right itself, the buildings returning to their usual forms. The taxi slowed to a halt, releasing me onto a deserted street, the door swinging open on its own. As I stumbled out, heart pounding, the cab vanished into the night, leaving me with a story I'd never be able to laugh about again.